Right. Hello. Hey, welcome, Mason. Welcome, Sophie. One second. Let me make sure our live stream is started here. All right. Awesome. All right. So welcome, y'all. Welcome. Let's get started with our performance seminar. I think so. You all are on the program. Let me get you in attendance. All right. And that's it. Everybody's here. So two things, just make sure you've got your original sound enabled and ready to go. And then when you're ready to play, just go ahead and tell us the name of your piece and the composer, and then you can go ahead and then start, and we'll maybe talk about it a little bit when you're done. All right. So we've got both Sophie and Mason. How about Sophie? Are you able to start us out here?
Sophie, sure. Yeah.
All right. So let's check out. Just tell us the name of your piece and the composer, and then whenever you're ready to play, you can go ahead and start. Just make sure your original sound is on there.
My name is Sophie, and I'll be playing Reflections by Dennis Alexander.
Work, Sophie. Okay, really nicely done. Great work, Sophie. So I was just gonna, how did you feel? Is this for CM? Are you getting this ready for a CM recording, or are you just performing it for learning the piece?
It's for CM.
Okay. So I mean, there's a lot of great details in this performance. What did you feel like went well?
I think the dynamics went okay.
Yeah. So I could really hear a lot of the dynamics. That was nicely done. Um, it sounded very your memory on the piece seemed very solid. It was all very confidently played. So yeah, nice work. If anything, I would maybe say at the end, don't feel like you have to be in a rush to finish, especially in the end here. Especially this, right? So wait in this moment right here, maybe you might want to take a little bit of a pause. I know it's under a slur, but pause. That will really enhance the nice crescendo that you are already doing. Da, 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 ba, da, ba, so you can take even more, right? Because the big octave jump up is really that's really dramatic sound, right? So you can maybe even stretch that moment a little bit, right? um yeah, so nicely done. And also, so here at the end, right, don't I you did a great job with a diminuendo here. I thought that was nice. Since the pedal is holding out this whole way, make sure you give a tiny bit of extra oomph to that B. So we hear the chord notes a little bit louder than the rest of the notes that are caught in the pedal. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Um, so could you try that one more time? Maybe, I don't know. Is it comfortable to start somewhere like at the measure 21, maybe?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, let's try that. Mhm. Hmm. Yeah. Yeah. So nicely done, Sophie. I think, I mean, if you wanted to, you could even we could even relax the tempo even a little bit more, really make it a little more dramatic, right? Make us wait for each one of these little um moments in the phrase. But anyway, yeah, so really nicely done. Again, a lot of great details. I could really hear a nice balance in there, and it sounded very secure. So nicely done. Thanks, Sophie. Great work. All right, so let's turn to Mason now. Mason, are you ready to play? All right, so tell us what you'll be playing and the composer.
Oh, hello, my name is Mason. Today I'm going to be playing Ballade by Frederick Bolger. Yeah, I did.
Yeah, Bergman. All right, great work, Mason. Yeah, so I really yeah, really like this. So this was nicely done, very dramatic. What what did you feel went well about that?
Like, so from the, like, comparing this to the first time I performed this, these part, like, especially this part was a lot better than last time because last time it was like, I found it really hard to, like, control that part.
Hmm.
And then, yeah, I think I added a little more dynamics into this one, like into the last parts too. And then, yeah, the rhythm was like a little slower than like what I'm used to playing. But I think my teacher told me to do that. And yeah.
Yeah, no, it was so I liked it. It was hanging together. Um, so it felt like everything was really gelling. I liked, I thought the dynamics in the middle part were good. The balance, you did a great job keeping your left hand a little bit softer and less, a little bit less like staccato, as well. What I'm curious, could we try the opening section, right? Which is very similar to the ending section. So let's look at this opening section. what dynamic or where does it say, so where is the forte? Where's the first forte you can find?
So like 1, 2, 3, 1, 2, 3.
So that's a, yeah, that's a sforzando, which is like a kind of an accent mark. Where's the first just plain forte in the piece that you can find?
Uh, like I don't. I don't. There's. I don't. Oh, it's right there, right there.
Yeah, so I think this is the first, like this is the first specific forte I can find. Everything else is piano, which is so that's maybe interesting to think about, right? So I think, and we all know the first, right? The first section is a little stormier sounding than the middle, right? Which is a little calmer. What I want to work on is I want to see, and you're doing this, the mechanics of everything are good. The notes and the rhythms are coming along. The sforzando moments were nice. Notice we get a diminuendo after that. So I would say the first point where you want it to get loud is this crescendo, right? And this is where there would have been a forte. There might be a missing forte here, but then there's definitely these like rooftop accents that are really loud. So what I want to see is number one, in this section, can we keep it from getting forte until this moment, right? So that means can we make it a little more mysterious at the beginning rather than, so right, instead of maybe being out there at the beginning with these accents, can we try making it soft so that these big accents jump out, right?
Okay.
So,
Mm.
so make it a little bit more, we're going for like scary mystery rather than like all stormy all the time, right? So can you play me just your left hand at the beginning, right? Because of course we want this to come out. Yeah. Hmm. Yeah. So let's think about, so what are you going to do with your left hand to make sure it's a little bit softer?
Like I control my wrist to be like my teacher said I can use my wrist to control the volume
Mhm. Yeah. And so I think of it a couple ways, right? Dynamics is your number one, right? Think about how, so you're letting your hand drop into the keys. So I don't think like hitting your, so you're letting your hand drop. How much height, right? So how high are you dropping from, right? Are your fingers dropping from right on the keys, which will be a little bit, right, a little bit softer. If you want to get a loud set, so like at the end, right, when you've got those, right, this staccato part, make sure we can come from above. That's not really, those are sounding loud, right? Right. Make sure that you come from above. That gives you a little more weight. Um, the second thing is, yeah, how much weight are you letting drop into your hand? Is it just like the weight of your hand, or is it like the weight of your whole arm? That will also make it louder the more arm you put into it versus just your hand. So let's back up. Let's try the right hand first, then we'll go back to the left hand here. Let's get these chords. Can you try the staccato chords in the right hand?
so
Yeah, good. So one thing I would think of, especially when you're doing something staccato, right? The temptation is that your hand starts kind of bouncing, right? And what happens then? You're dropping from really high up, so that there's a tendency for staccato stuff to get really loud, which it doesn't have to. So really be careful that you're keeping your fingertips almost like on the keys. And one thing you can do instead of thinking of doing, right, because one way to do staccato is take your hand away really fast from the keys. Now, in order to combat that, one thing you can do is kind of think of doing a little bit of a like a brush with your fingers, because that way you can keep your fingertips close, but still get them off the keys quickly. Can you try a little bit of that?
So,
Yeah, and let the left hand take all of that sforzando, because there's plenty, like your thumb can really get that sforzando. Mm-hmm. And then immediately back to soft, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Now, same thing for the left hand with those 16th notes, right? Can you try playing all of those notes at the same time? So just the C, the B, the A, and the G at the same time. It's like a cluster. Yeah, right. So what I want you to feel where all your fingers have to be lined up to hit the notes at the same time. Right. So see, like think about the shape that your fingers have to make and memorize that, right? So that's where all your fingers have to be to hit those notes. Then so keep your fingertips close to the keys. And like you said, use your wrists to help them. Da 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 da. So instead of going da 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 da, right? Da 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 da. So can you try that for me? Mm-hmm. Yeah, and so use your hand to, right, you don't stop using your fingers entirely, but keep your fingers a little bit firmer so that that hand motion works, right? And whenever you want to reset them, you can play, right? Think of when you practice, right? Play all four notes at the same time just to kind of feel, where do all my fingertips need to be set in order that I'm getting to the keys. All right, so try it one time all together. Remember, keep the dynamic as soft as you can until you get to the sforzandos, and then go right back to soft, so that then this crescendo can be really intense and surprising all of a sudden. So try this first section one more time
uh,
and think about those things. So hold back the forte. Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, and then you can write so bum, 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 bum. And then it can be all really loud, right? So yeah, so that was already sounding better, Mason. So did you feel like you could at least get a sense of better control over the dynamic there?
Yeah.
Yeah, so I would, that's something to continue to, that's a more of a fine tuning thing. So now you've got all the notes and the rhythms down, right? You can kind of think about polishing that a little bit more. So that's what I would go back to as well with the left hand with those 16th notes, right? Start out your practice really feeling what those four notes are like at the same time to get your fingers set. Then kind of work your hands slowly and practice, right? So practice keeping your fingers right at the keys so that it's easy for your wrist to help, right? Because if they're up here, the wrist doesn't really help too much. Yeah, so that's a good thing to kind of work a little slowly to get that motion down and then get it back up to speed like you're performing it. And that won't take long at all. So thanks, Ian. Thanks, Mason. Thanks, Sophie. Great job, y'all. I'll see you next time you play. Okay. Thanks for coming. Have a good rest.